Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Fallout New Vegas. So, we've kind of run out of things to do. There's a weirdly large amount of Ralphie posters I can't find. A weirdly large amount of nukes I can't find. The only thing I can assume is either this Ulysses Temple is a much bigger area than I think, or there's just going to be a lot of stuff crammed into a smaller area. We haven't ever used these flashbangs. Like, we spent most of the game of this DLC using rockets. We used the shoulder-mounted machine gun a little. So I want to at least try the flashbang and see what happens. Quest mark completion. We're not getting any XP anymore. I am at level 50. And that's something I think you definitely should mod into the game from the beginning. Like, it is very debatable, certainly, if you're drastically changing the experience by, like, modding in a over-encumbrance mod to get rid of that, so you could just carry an infinite amount of items. It's not really going to change your experience much at all if there was a mod that let you just continue to level up. Like, level up to level 100, you could then take every perk. You could definitely have a much better experience that way. In fact, I imagine you could probably just change your player's level with a console command. Yeah. And see, I've been trying to have the normal experience here, but I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah. After this episode, I think I'm gonna look and see if there's a console command that would just reset me back to like level 0, level 1, and then as we continue to play, if I'm at level 0 or level 1, whatever the lowest would be, I would level up and get opportunities to take perks again. While one would assume keeping all the perks you already have, which is an infinitely, just obviously, there's no debate, better experience than getting at the end game here and just having to live with decisions. It's not even real world representative in that you don't hit age 50 or you don't get a PhD in some level of knowledge and then you just stop gaining knowledge, you just stop gaining skills. So why have a level cap at all? Like, it's kind of ridiculous. It's only here because other games have it, and it's only in games because game companies expect you to play their next game. Well, in Bethesda's case, they take so darn long to make their next game. It's pointless to even have a level cap even in that case. And I still have this weird helmet that changes my visions when I'm in stealth mode into the black and white mode, which that's another issue, certainly, in that the game knows it's way too dark and is, instead of fixing the problem correctly, they have an exact match. Of course, the danger, certainly, of resetting my level would be that maybe some of the DLC wouldn't let me play it if I set myself to too low of a level. I don't think that's the case, though. I think it just warns you. And level shouldn't affect skill. Here we have another example of just a heck of a lot of one of everything in a closet. We can hear a robot in the corner. This is, I guess, an example of a enemy that at least makes some noise, so you can hear them somewhat coming. As for the actual DLC we're playing here, we have Eddie kidnapped. I'm assuming we're gonna find Ulysses is in part at least I think he is at least in part a robot cyborg. Okay. So when you use a flashbang, it's just gonna hit the whole body. Okay. Flashbangs work. They work really, really good. So, it definitely feels to me like that was the direction to go. And it looks like this is exactly what we needed. Is that we needed this map to tell me all the locations where the nukes may still exist. Let's go just a little bit further, but I think the game is basically telling me I need to go back. So this might be where Eddie is. Then here's a whole commissary. Alright. Okay. So if this is to be believed, I missed one here and here. Not one in the courier mile. Looks like there was an entire section of this map that was a town that seems to have just been missing. And we missed one somewhere here and somewhat here. Okay. So the confirmation move should be to just go back to this location. And I imagine we can't just fast travel. Yeah. Can't fast travel when enemies are nearby. And then need to be more certain about where the marker is, because I think the marker is actually right there. Alright, here we go. If we get confirmation of that. Now, here's a great example of where it would be nice to have a... Let's not use flashbangs, though. I don't have a lot of them. It would be nice to have what am I trying to say here? Losing my train of thought. It kind of looks like there is something up here. Because you see that, like, yeah, there's a burning barrel, sorry. so we're gonna go up. Probably run into absolutely nothing in this whole experience. Well, I am here, and it's either this wastewater treatment plant inside here, or it would be outside somewhere. And I guess there's a slight danger that it is down instead of up. Well, my thought would be that it would be up. We've been in here. This was the flooded area. So what I didn't consider is that there might be a swim section. No, there isn't. The other thought is it could be like way over here and that you have to shoot it from a very far distance. Is there any possibility that there could be a nuke in this area though? Like, how sneaky would it have to have been to put a nuke in this area? Yes, I know I can jump over here and do some platforming. Is there any way that maybe you're supposed to find a warhead? There's kind of a funny sound effect over here. There was supposed to be some kind of secret door. Yeah. It'd be kind of crazy if you had to sit down on a chair, if you had to find a secret door. It sounds more to me like it is just a random. Okay. So if it's not up, maybe it's down? Is there possibly a deep cave? Where are we on the map? This is where Roar was. A non-load section. Had a couple nukes going off in this area already. Like if I'm right here in the corner, I'm still fairly far away from where I'm supposed to be. The other issue we're gonna run into here is that each of the nuclear silos, I think, has a missile in it, and as such, I think that is some warheads I need to blow up. I'm not sure if I really know how to do that. Maybe it's all scripted experiences. That is a possibility, certainly. Yeah, I just don't think I ever have been able to get all the way up there. Check the water here. Make sure there's not a extra path. Unless it was something like go through this door. Yeah, and I just wanted to kind of give up on all of this, and the map has specifically ruined that thought. It has set me up instead to play obsessively. Looking for every one of the missiles. Which I do think that is going to affect the encounter, but it probably won't affect the encounter too much. Like, I don't think it's just going to be straight up you lose because you didn't have the foresight to blow up all of the nukes that you could possibly find. Is that one way over there? Is there any possibility I'm hitting that from this distance? I would suspect no. I would suspect that that is the end. We may just get up at the top. Let's try this one though. So, could there have been a nuke either in this bunker or around this bunker? This has put me where? Put me at the end of the bunker. And so what I'm trying to see is maybe if there was some really far off nuke. Doesn't seem like that's the case. go back in here. I've already run through this whole area once. Second time, actually. I've looked all around for possible see, it just feels shielded, and so it just doesn't feel like the laser detonator would be the thing. Can the base commander set off a missile launch? I don't think he can. But we are seeing radiation here. Everything's telling me that this is the one to blow up. I guess the question is just, we've got to find an unshielded spot. Maybe that is the trick. That there is just an unshielded spot somewhere around the missile, and you have to just walk around it to find it. It's not like interactable though. So if I was supposed to have like the separate detonator or satchel charges and put it on there, it doesn't seem to be the right move. Suppose it's worth trying a flashbang. It's not really targetable, but yeah. That didn't do anything. I think these control panels don't connect to anything. And that would be where the nuke is. I definitely think. It really wouldn't make any sense that there was another nuclear warhead anywhere else. In fact, my general assumption would be that you are supposed to be right here shooting that. You can't quite reach it in this controller. And see, this is a fairly tilted missile, so I would assume it's not likely to scrape, shoot true. What I thought here is maybe the computer. That's not interactable either. So I'm kind of leaning towards the game just is lying to me with the maps. That there are just some you can't either target. Okay. The other one was the Marked Men base. So This is our last opportunity to see if there's a bomb somewhere here. We totally missed. Which, in fairness, I could see that there might be something I missed here. I could see being over encumbered and not paying a lot of attention. Is that a Ralphie poster? I don't think it is. It could be that there's a lower area I missed. Maybe even a cave I missed. This area in particular did feel very empty. It might be that the game is glitched too. Let's not eliminate that as a possibility. That there might really be a bomb that was already exploded. Have to constantly turn the flashlights back on. These nuclear warheads are supposed to be fairly easy to find. They're big, they glow orange, or they're bright orange. They don't glow per se. They're radioactive, so you should run into them as you see them. I did kind of wonder if maybe you were supposed to get into this building, but I don't really see a way. It doesn't really look like a path that you're supposed to like jump down here and then climb up there. Then doesn't really seem like there's anything to engage with. Don't believe that is a warhead. I guess what the annoyance could be here is that it could be that things are just hidden from all the current angles, or things are hidden so there's only a slight visual spot, like just the slight tip of a nuclear warhead sticking out of a wall. Yep. The only other place I could kind of check would be this. Let's see, and we just can't control anything, and we can't jump to that spot. And we can't jump to that spot. So let's just look really carefully. Make sure that there isn't some kind of nuke somewhere around. And that's not the spot I actually was going to fast travel to, but that was one worth checking. I was going to look here and see if there was maybe a nuke somewhere at this very beginning section. Nope. So that feels like that was just a colossal waste of time. I mean, no way you describe it any other way. Let's see, I can walk up here, but then my jumping's not working. Okay. So we've now manipulated ourselves up to a higher spot. I was thinking that there might be something there. Can we reach these spots? Well, with the whole Bethesda crawl, it seems like you could, but I think what I'm running into is really just an invisible wall. Yeah. Let's go ahead and swap guns. None of the guns I have at the moment are particularly good if I'm trying not to damage Eddie in the process. Okay. Was this the right location? Interesting. Notice how the magnifier is actually cycling. Did I go to the right place? I hate to do this, but... No. Yeah, I did go to the right place. So, nuked, nuked, nuked. These three are all parts of the silo, which probably means this is part of the silo too. And then the rest of these, I guess... See, this may just have been an indication that each of these nukes are the ones that were left where they were. And maybe I'm looking at the wrong way, and maybe I should be going at the yellows. Let's consider that for a second. If that's the case, then there would be one in this whole area that we haven't even engaged with. So I guess I wasn't supposed to do either thing. Okay. Well, I think this is what we want to do. We want to open this and then just go ahead and kill the iBot. Do I want to pick up a hammer? Not really. Pencils, medical clipboards, yes. Okay. So my suspicion is this is how we get our companion Eddie back and save Eddie. And I guess if you didn't do that, you might have a slightly different experience. Don't think picking up axes and hammers does anything super helpful. And spending the extra energy looking for tiny pencils. Let's see. Open repair pod 1, open repair pod 3, open repair pod 2. So optional rescue Eddie. So we'll do a science thing. So there is a theme here of going home, and that Ibot is going home, and that you're going home, and Ulysses is maybe not going home. Hmm. 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 So yeah, continue to have these one-sided conversations. And with that hammer, which I knew I shouldn't have picked up, I'll become over encumbered. I do have a crafting bench over here, so it does make sense to make use of it. Let's see, continue to make all of those. Continue to recycle things with efficient recycling. Of course, most of what I'm recycling here and crafting are electric weapons, which we didn't bring any with us, so there is very little we're gaining from this, other than maybe, just maybe, we will be in a good position in the next DLCs. So I was over encumbered before, and that got me down. I will keep the flash grenades, but we'll try and drop some items, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Sorting through other things. We can get Eddie to fly over here. I think he will activate the terminal. Let's see. I could spin caps repairing these things, which is probably wasteful. Or I could buy more flashbangs, which is probably not a terrible thought. And it probably is a fairly terrible thought to buy too much. The Xander root still feels very much like it is some added item. Weird afterthought that has no value. We can't ask Eddie anything about this map. So as far as we know, it's just going to be walk through this area and be prepared for a fight. They're even fully healing you up, perhaps to remind you about these auto docks. So in Big Old World Blues in Big Mountain, there was a giant scorpion robot, much more of a boss fight than I saw ever in in the main game of New Vegas, or even in Fallout 3 in general. There was one giant robot in one section of Fallout 3, but I think that may have also been DLC. So I see multiple missiles here. So One assumes that the plan here is to the plan is to just nuke New Vegas. There's 24 of 30. There's 25 of 30. This is a terrible way to have a checkoff number. Just to have 5 of the last ones all in that same location. Okay, I'm not seeing any more though. It seems like things are starting now. I guess Ulysses is just standing here waiting for us to talk to him. So let's look around, just make sure. 29 of 30. So that map totally was a lie. Just absolutely a lie. It's not. It doesn't have anything to do with where that was marking. Let's see. I guess there might be some things we can look for and search, but really now is not the time to be searching. My guess. Hey, there is a laser deactivation. Yeah, I kind of think what's going to happen here is we're going to end up having to run around and deactivate missiles, find control panels, and use them. Here again we can see there's a laser signal. We may just have to run around. What's annoying about this, I think, is that probably are just going to fail because we're gonna miss one single we're probably gonna miss one single laser. I guess the question is just how close can we get to it, and is there going to be a proximity mine anywhere? I guess if our repair state skill was low enough, we wouldn't have been able to get to that point and do that. I bought console controls. So he's probably going to fight with iBots. Would be my guess. Just look around here and see if we can find that final mini nuke. You'd think setting off all the mini nukes would have caught Ulysses' attention, or in general, you would have thought Ulysses' attention would be focused on you, laser focused on you anyways. I wonder what's behind these doors. If it's just monster closets where enemies are going to spawn, or if it's something more. Let's go ahead and just drop down here. I think I would applaud the game for being consistent here. It would be a little unfair if there were 5 laser trip panels and 1 proximity mine. Of course, I would also be getting some XP for disarming all of this if I wasn't already at the max level. The fact that you get to the max level and then you just stop getting XP certainly could be interpreted as an admission that the whole process of getting XP and the user effects are not 100% positive. Boy, I almost called that psychically. Yep. I bought console. Just look up here and see if we see anything else. So yeah, either it's a case that I missed one missile somewhere, or there's one final missile to stop. Satchel charges, flashbangs. None of these missiles feel like they could actually shoot anywhere, so this may just be the last missile to stop. Let's make this feel like a real game. I think it would be fairly boring to just throw a flashbang at him. And kill him in one hit. Let's go see how this is gonna go down. And see, usually the game doesn't just stop you and have characters talk to you.
Your city, Vegas, lies in the other direction with the rest of its slaves. Or is it just you, courier, without the lights and ghosts? Judging by your shadow, maybe you can't let your machine go. Doesn't matter now. Either way, the Divide Giants are awakening. The missiles here on their way home. There is no way to stop them.
See, this is a fairly good face and custom character model. I don't think dreadlocks were an option for any of the other characters, and the story mentioned the dreadlocks, so here now we have some very poorly animated dreadlocks, probably put the best they could do for the time. But yeah, you definitely would have wanted to see this guy more often if you were going to make this custom character. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna just say I still don't understand why are you doing this. Of all the options, I really would just like him to fully explain his reasoning. Is he still working for Legion? Doesn't really seem like it based on the way he's dressed. Is he just crazy? He doesn't seem that crazy.
You've answered your own question, and you'll die with that question on your lips.
So he's blowing up the place.
You don't see, listen, even when it's all around you. No matter if I nailed it into your head like a gift from Caesar. You brought the divide to life, courier. You walked the road, brought the bear, then the bull, brought me, following your tracks. And when I saw the divide you made, I saw a second chance, a new way of thinking. My world, no longer the East. And you brought the West in that package, destroyed it all, nearly killed me, flesh and spirit. You destroyed something larger than the bear, greater than the bull. And even when you could have turned away, you brought it again in that machine. You destroyed a nation taking its first breath, a place that could have been my home. Now, I'll destroy yours.
So apparently by being a courier, I gave a new nation a chance of starting in the divide, and then by trying to be helpful, I think I brought a electronic device of some sort that set off, I guess, a bunch of nukes, maybe, and created the divide, destroying this home in the divide that I helped create, making this guy seek a vengeance. I'm not 100% sure what the theme here is. Don't try to be helpful or be smarter. Perhaps as the only argument to be made. It does kind of feel like madness. Let's see.
No. Now there is purpose. I believe you when you say you were careless. The divide, the chip, the machine you brought here. Many
Apparently Eddie
can
is
be taken
more
from
dangerous.
that, intended or not. What I do now is an act of conviction.
Let's see. So do we want to go aggressive here, or do we want to say not others?
Blame you? No. Learned from you. Both the weapon to kill a nation and the strength to do it. You showed me a road, a way to carry my message.
Notice how his arms are clipping through his chest.
Now the
That's
flag
very
you
common.
follow will
Even for
answer
games
for it.
nowadays, it's terrible. So he intends to bomb the Mojave.
No, not the Mojave. The West. All that's been built since America died. Same symbols as before the war. Now a flag carried by a tribe of children. You walked the West, didn't stay. You know the reason. The bear grows without structure, follows a symbol without knowing its history. Without NCR to support it, Vegas will fall to the Legion. That grave of lights back to dust and ghosts, as was meant. After this, only one flag will remain over the Mojave. Let that one fly, or destroy itself.
So he is siding, certainly, with the Legion. So, a couple options here. You think I care if you fire missiles at the NCR? Go ahead. You can't destroy the West even with all these missiles here. Yeah, again, this is just going to be one of these dialogue choices where you either exhaust it or you just give up and start shooting.
No need to destroy the bear. Just cut its throat. You taught me that, at the divide. Only need to cut off the supply line, the road, to watch something greater die. I'll turn the long 15 into miles of fire, cut off the Mojave. NCR will fall back, lose Hoover Dam, and leave their throats exposed to the Legion.
So I assume here that we haven't actually seen the long 15 yet, and it is in the main map area, which is weird to have a DLC section that's not really accessible in the DLC section. We have a Vegas option here, probably because people in Vegas kind of like me.
Your actions have carried strength. More importantly, not for House, but for the families on the Strip. If the ghosts of Vegas have come from behind their wall to speak for the West, I'll hear their words. If you believe that Vegas does not deserve to die as the bear does, then answer me why.
Okay, so here's our speech check. You told me once I gave life to the Divide and can do it again. Give life to Vegas. This is our speech being at 90. The other option would have been to have found enough tapes or found enough, I assume that's Ralphie posters, which I really haven't done any of those.
History has proven this. Our history. And you think that you have the strength enough to hold up NCR long enough that Vegas may live again. Even if you speak for Vegas and its ghosts, nothing you can do can prevent the missile's launch. Convincing me changes nothing.
Well, I just said all of that because I'm betting you have some way to stop all this. Let's go with the middle option here. I believe that one person can make or break a nation. You already know this. I'm not sure if I personally believe that, frankly. Like, one person's speech can inspire others to make or break a nation, I guess. But, yeah. But then also I'm thinking of it from the perspective of having enough people that you actually could have a nation, whereas these games really don't have enough people to be called a nation in my book. They're small tribes at best. And of course this is a video game, so the main protagonist is given way more importance than any one person probably ever could. But I do think this is the right answer.
It may be that as much destruction has been written in the earth here, you may build something else, as you built the divide. You have spoken truly. There is a shadow of a nation behind you, the hope of a people. Yet it may not matter. The divide still stands against us.
So now we have to fight off the Mark Command. The divide, what do you mean?
Our enemies gather outside, shadows of the bear and a bull. They will have found their way in, just as you did. It was always my intention. In case I could not kill you, the marked men would flood this place, cut off your escape. If we cannot prevent what comes, then let us make our stand here. Two couriers together at the divide.
Clearly the mask here is also just designed to hide the fact that they didn't.
East and west alike.
Alright, well. I have no idea what, who is shooting what, where. Let's jump down here now. see if we can activate this. Cannot use this now. Which means I need to run back up here. There's no fast way around that.
Mercy killings. Let them rest. We've shown them fear, but not enough.
Rare pair iBots are shooting at things for us. Cannot use that now. They're all exploding. I'm not sure if there's a real reason for them to be exploding. This is a great example of where VATS is just slowing down the whole process. Are they coming out of these tunnels, or no? I imagine those are iBots that are coming out of those tunnels. 1% chance of hitting that guy. So, quest completed. Quest added, the end. So you have repair iBot, medical iBot. What is the actual quest? Cancel the missile launch. Okay. So big glowing button flashing here to see. Leave the console alone, attempt to cancel the launch. Redirect the missiles to target both the NCR and Caesar's Legion. Redirect the missiles to target Caesar's. Accelerate the countdown. You know, life is treated very poorly in this game, but I think the right move is to attempt to cancel the launch. The abort code is encrypted with an incredibly advanced pre-war military encryption sequence. You'd have to be a code-breaking robot to crack it. Let's ask Eddie for help.
Experiment log 369248/A. iBot Duraframe Universal Interface Override System. This is Dr. Whitley presiding. Initial tests of the override system are promising. Against unsecured or lightly encrypted targets, the iBots have a 98% success rate. More heavily protected systems are still problematic. Military-grade encryption presents a very real possibility of critical overload of key systems. We've stopped tests before any robots were destroyed. But if we don't address the problem, our iBots will fry themselves hacking military networks.
So, are we asking Eddie to sacrifice himself? But see, we know there's another copy of Eddie, so this isn't really a sacrifice, is it? Like, we already know, because of the prompt at the beginning of the game, that all the upgrades we get here are going to the Eddie in the Mojave. Let's just go with this. Let's go with no, we won't let you sacrifice yourself. If you're really sure that this is okay, go ahead and stop the missile. Goodbye. So all my items he was holding are now going to be added at the top left there. Should I be staying here or should I be running for my life? And so Eddie gets to be a hero. Or die a hero. Sacrificing himself. Run for the canyon wreckage. Now, in this case, it would kind of make some sense to have a cutscene or have all the enemies that have been turned into goo not have items on them. So we'll just take the items as we go. Can't become too over encumbered until you get to like 1,000 points. My assumption is that these were just monster closets and that there isn't actually much of anything behind there. And Ulysses is, I guess, our companion. In 80 circuits burned in the fire divide, there was one small part that held on until the end. Here's the fragment. As his last gesture, he sent one last signal to his counterpart in the Mojave, passing along with the courier. There was the chance always that Eddie's journey would continue, perhaps carried on. The one for which the text is moving too fast now because it's not being read out loud.
Oakville burned, lightless in the night.
Notice how slow this will be
Invisible
instead.
Fires of radiation scorching it from within and without. It is said a man still walked its streets with a tattered jacket, an old world flag etched on the back. He remained there, perhaps as punishment for the scars he left on the wastes, or a reminder of a history he could not forget. For Ulysses, his journey was over. The courier had been the end of his road. As for the courier, she turned her back on her home for the second time and made her way back, navigating the treachery of the divide. Tunnelers and the marked men avoided the lone figure, as if recognizing the courier's right to passage, or out of fear. The courier walked until she stood again upon the edge of the divide, the last road she would walk before the second battle for Hoover Dam. There, beside her feet, was a final package from one courier to another, a footlocker bearing a gift and a message. But that message, it is something for couriers to carry, and for them alone. The lights flickered across the divide, reminders that the old world histories persist and find meaning in the present. It said, war never changes. Women do. Through the roads they walk, and this road has reached its end.
And that's an interesting way to kind of change all of that. So, the fires of Armageddon, the divide broke cities, flayed skin from bone, and threatened to destroy the world, but you survived it and stopped it. You can put a single point to any of your special attributes. You also gain reputation with the followers of Apocalypse and Brotherhood of Steel for stopping another Armageddon. We also get Soft-Hearted Devil, with our relationship with the Brotherhood of Steel, which doesn't matter, we've already killed all of them. Yeah. Okay. So you get one extra thing. Strength is obviously the thing you would want to do. Don't see a real reason to go one higher with luck. Okay. I won't have my shovel to open the graves here. So, yeah, I got an achievement for finishing that. And then that's pretty much it. We need to travel to the divide for a brief second here. Oh, there was also a footlocker. Hopefully we didn't despawn that. And we're going to do the over encumbered crawl. Didn't change our relationship. We're at 429. Didn't really change our relationship with the NCR for doing this. And yeah, if we were to just look at the map, yeah, I missed one nuke somewhere, obviously. And I don't think Ulysses Temple is going to tell me that, nor do I really think I care. We could go back and check, but it really would just be an achievement. An achievement not worth getting, considering how we missed the Ralphie posters. You can definitely see how they have forced you into some kind of action final battle. There obviously was another way in which you could have just shot Ulysses and gotten a bad ending. You could have also stuck the nukes. But I imagine if you'd nuked either side, you would have really only hurt yourself. Well, no, you probably would have only hurt the story of the NCR and the Legion, and not actually nuked any of the locations in the Mojave where the NCR and or Legion are. So it probably wouldn't have changed the main world at all. The fact that it gave me a skill point is nice. It's a little concerning that maybe if you played better, you might have gotten 2 skill points. Probably not the case, but it is certainly a thought. It definitely also highlights where you would be better off playing this early in the game before you're just at the very end of the main story. Okay, so we're looking for a footlocker somewhere. And it's probably where we spawned, which was just around this corner. I would assume it is exactly there. And so, is this a case where this is supposed to be a special significance? I suppose this might be some kind of poetic thing where that saying is, if you seek revenge, dig 2 graves, one for your victim, one for yourself, however you actually say that. Right, let's see. There's a courier duster, a weapon called Old Glory, a red glare, 100 rockets. These snakebite tourniquets are probably very nice to have when you're fighting the wasp characters or the scorpion characters that poison you. Then we have Ulysses Duster, his final message, and his mask. I was thinking maybe you would get a key to the gate to get to the 15.
Last tape, last message. In case you best me. If you're hearing this, you have, through blood or word, this message and all that lies with it. It is for you, courier. If you want to know the why of things. This world, I've walked a good part of it. I stopped only because of you. What you did gave me pause. Long ago, I crossed the Colorado, the first among the Legion to see Hoover Dam in all its glory. An old world wall, yet bridging two sides. And beyond it, a symbol of a two-headed bear. An idea great enough to challenge Caesar himself. Might kill him taking it, whether he won or lost. The bull needs to fight, needs the challenge. Without it, it falters, dies in the dust. Might be a lesson there, in you and me. Leave the thought behind the message to you. My message is this. The destruction that has been wrought at the Divide, or elsewhere, if you couldn't stop me, it can happen again. It will keep happening. If war doesn't change, men must change, and so must their symbols. Even if it is nothing at all, know what you follow, courier. Just as I followed you to the end. Whatever your symbol, carry it on your back and wear it proudly when you stand at Hoover Dam.
So this was a level 25 suggested quest. So you really are being implied that you should use it and activate the quest right before you finish the game. Right. As for the overworld, I don't think anything has changed. This long 15 still hasn't changed. And I am over encumbered with 3,518 pounds. So being over 1,000 doesn't seem to really affect you. So I don't know what really did before. Let's just see. Yeah. So this is the beauty of the big mountain gun from Old World Blues, though, is that I can just pull the trigger now, and I am now teleported to the sink, where I can take my massive amount of over-encumberness and turn it into a whole bunch of better
Greetings,
items.
citizen.
First of all, we can process pencils into lead.
Greetings, citizen.
Then we can process clipboards into...
Greetings, citizen. Ready to receive seditious
what does it get?
materials.
What does it process it into? Duct tape,
Stay
scrap
loyal,
metal,
citizen.
things like that. Muggy here will take... he can give you random things, and then, which are bullets, and scrap electronics. It does seem like it is just kind of a random assortment of items. Some coffee mugs and dishes. Coffee pots, red plates, Wonder Glue being added, empty syringes being added, scrap metal being added. In the toaster,
While you were away,
can take some more items.
Oh, yes.
Toasters and appliances. We didn't find that many toasters, but we did find a few cameras and irons and hot plates. All of which adds more stuff. Now, I don't believe this one processes anything.
So you beat the big brains at their own...
Lost my sonic emitter, can you make me a new one? I guess the answer to that is no.
Catch you later, Gator.
I didn't actually listen to...
That's a shame, Chief. Nobody ought to go through life without music on hand.
Alright, so he'll sell me.
Catch you later, Gator.
So here's our whole Ralphie poster hanging on the wall. It's not interactable.
If I made out with the sink, would you pay attention to me?
The screen doesn't do anything. That room doesn't do anything. This could heal us. Just with all that conversion, I already have a lot of things I can craft, I'm sure. A lot of which will just be sellable. And it is going to come down to just trying to be as fast as possible. So I'd like another Cyberdog gun. It would be really what I would like. 30 weapon repair kits, which means I could repair quite a few weapons, but there's not really a good way to do it either. I also have way too many magazines. So yeah, that's not that much. And then the question really would come down to, what can I really craft? Mass purified water, homebrew sunset sarsaparilla, snake bite tourniquets, wasteland tequila. Definitely doesn't feel like you would have. Where did I get dog and coyote meat from? Yep, that whole DLC definitely didn't feel like a spot. We can see all of the plants in this area have refilled, so we will collect everything.
Away, could you? Yeah, I knew you'd be back.
Make sure we get every single item, and then let's go back and see what else we can craft. Mole rat stew. So a lot of food there, not really a lot of opportunities to do anything with the food. Let's come over here and just make sure that there's nothing else I need to do.
It was getting lonely without...
We'll fill in all the empty bottles, which will take probably quite a lot of empty bottles, and fill them in with water, pure water, which is more valuable. 72 purified waters. Then it'd be more of a situation where you would like ideally you should be able to just repair things on their same repair. That should do you good enough. As far as weapons go, we have a lot of stuff here. A lot of extremely valuable weapons. And I don't know if there's a way I'm going to be able to chainsaw, take a thermantic lance and another thermantic lance, displacer glove, take one power fist and an industrial hand. Pretty sure I have power fist. Fist of the North Rar is a named weapon. Flamers. Take an arc welder. Flare guns. Take flare guns. We have 40 flashbangs, which I don't think I'd really want to carry those around. Gatling laser. Take this heavy incinerator and this plasma caster. The HH tool nail gun proved to be pointless. Yeah, maybe that would work better in the... I'm gonna keep knives just in case knives can actually be used to craft the weapon binding rituals. Laser detonator. Take a plasma defender. Put that in the highest use. We'll probably never use the laser detonator, but we probably won't be able to get rid of it either. Laser RCW. Yeah. Light machine gun. That might be one. And all I'm really trying to do here is get... So this is some kind of throwing spear? Maybe? No, I don't think it is. Trying to get the weapons down to more reasonable number to deal with. Red glare. Do we need 2 red glares? No. Even though that's probably a huge waste of money to do that. Inherently, the value of this stuff is just falling off a cliff. Take that. And guess we'll Take that. I really only do want one thing. With perhaps the exception of the sonic emitter. Super Sledge versus a Thermantic Lance. Almost certainly don't need any more switchblades. I'd hoped it was more of a case that throwing spears would have given me more value as far as repairing and equipping things.
This scalpel.
So now, as we're cleaning up from that experience, the hope here is that I can just drop everything in here and then see what happens. This is going to be messy, to say the least. Weight is at 2,000 as far as all of this goes. Okay. So you have a modded one here. And then you have an extra one. So we'll keep this modded one. We have a modded one there. Notice that there isn't a plus that always shows up here when it's modded. Slightly different value. So we'll take that one. Take that. And that. And that. Take these. And inherently, I think a lot of this is going to be items that can be sold versus items. Why is this Bowie knife so much more valuable than this Bowie knife? Oh, probably because it's just slightly different condition on that one. It is definitely a question as far as just who do we sell these things to? Because I kind of don't know. I also know there's an achievement for like wearing either Dr. Klein's clothes full set or Dr. Mobius's full set. I don't want to get rid of things that are named items. It would be so much better if we could sort through this in a better way. I have enough weapon repair kits that it would actually make a lot of sense to I'm gonna leave these two laser RCWs here. And this laser rifle. both of those are not the right ones. They need one more mod to them. Anyways, what I was saying was, do have enough repair kits where it would just make more sense to use the weapon repair kits to repair all the weapons before selling them. This is a great example of exactly what the experience is as far as me playing off screen. It's just a lot of this. A lot of sorting, a lot of trying to figure out what can go where, what can be sold, what is valuable, what isn't. Satchel charges are kind of rare, but they're not single weapons. It feels like you should get the shovel and keep the shovel at all times. Yeah. It just doesn't seem like you really need to do this. Sonic emitter revelation, I have 2 of those, so I actually should change one of those to another sonic emitter. Why is one slightly different than the other on the super sledges? I don't know. Of course, the named items are really only repairable via the weapon repair kit. A lot of these items also can't get fully repaired because you just don't pick up or carry enough of them before I dump them back into this inventory.
Look who's back to...
Let's see. So we'll just turn that into the opera singer, and we will throw that one weapon back. So, yeah. So that means pretty much every weapon in this inventory now should be reusable. So it's just going to be a matter of, is this valuable versus something else being valuable. I'm probably not going to be able to really tell. So probably it's just easier to repair things with things. Bowie knives are probably better than lead pipes or tire irons or switchblades. Just brush gun. Take that brush gun, and that's a modified brush gun. So unless I could add some more mods to it, I don't want to sell it. This can take a blade to the west. Flare guns, only worth about 500 a lot of this stuff may very well not be valuable. I was going to keep the knives for a different reason. Plasma defenders with plasma defenders. Plasma pistols with flare guns. Singleton shotgun. Atomic laser. Tri-beam rifle with another tri-beam rifle. Okay, so this is only worth 91. Is the silenced weapon worth any more? It's only worth 80. So I don't think any of these are particularly valuable. The 44 Magnum is the much more valuable one.
Sir is looking exceptionally sharp today, if so.
Okay. Then the weapon binding ritual, which I guess is just called binding ritual, is the thing I think you craft with knives. Not seeing it. Do you craft it over here? Well, we can make some high explosive rocket ammo. If I was going to do any more of that. I swear knives were a thing. You could craft a binding ritual to make a knife. I wish that they would randomly spawn more skill books, but I guess you really don't need that. Well, it seems like it's just missing, but whatever. I will instead still keep the knives. It's not like the knives are particularly valuable. Now, here's where the crazy part's going to come into this.
Staying for any considerable length of time.
Let's start by seeing what this does. Which, if I'm going to do that, let's make a safety save first. But yeah, I think it would be better if we just turned off the personnel.
Very good indeed, sir. Throwing out the riffraff protocols engaged. All personality matrices are offline, sir.
Okay, we can just turn them back on. Anyways, good.
Very good, sir.
Okay. So this guy has 19,000 caps right now, as far as the storefront goes. If we start selling these top of the line items, we're going to very quickly. Do I really have an extra chainsaw? Like, question that. So we want to just sell everything, and inherently we're trying to sell the lower value items and hold on to the higher value items. The thought also is that, whoops, I shouldn't have sold that one, but whatever. Messed up a couple times there. Selling things that weren't at full value. It's probably better to not do that. Okay. So then the trade-off would be to find the highest value items otherwise. So like this layer for 8,000 could be a good trade-off to buy. And then some of the 5,000, it does seem very much like they are trying to have the most expensive things average at about 5,000. Suit-wise, might just make sense to buy all these suits later and use them as repair material against other suits. Food-wise, that's going to be a thing. You can buy surplus bullets, and then the rest of this I think is useless items. We could get a K9 mod and layers mods, which if I'm going to keep a layer, it would make sense to get the layer mods, particularly since there is just no way around this. The white plates actually might be something that could also be destroyed for more crafting materials later. Let's not deal with that yet. And then ammo. Ammo, if we just exhaust all the ammo in the shop, that can try and pull down the expense here. So we're not selling things but not getting caps for it. No such luck though. Okay, so then we'd be back to just picking the highest value things that we're trying to sell out or trading at a loss. Notice it's important to mention this would be trading at a loss for higher value items. Okay. And see, that was the kind of trade it feels like it almost crashed. And I could sit here and try and mod things. But I suspect, with the exception of just buying those two mods, which is going to add a massive amount of value to the layer, and make it a pretty decent gun, too. I'm not going to be able to do anything with the rest of this. So then at that point, I believe this is where I was keeping one of every food item. And this was the backup area to keep all the extra sales items for caps. Thousands and thousands of caps. And nobody to sell them to. I just want to... I was like keeping... You see, like weapon repair kits. Just kind of don't matter. We've got a ton of them. And they take weight. We just wouldn't really ever use them. I believe this is all of our extra clothing items. Which that's the next step here. Is to, see if we had 2 chainsaws or not. Yeah, we did. Alright. Alright, next step. We have advanced riot gear. We will assume we can craft that advanced riot helmet. I would assume we could probably use metal helmet there. Breathing masks are only worth 150. Can we craft anything else with that? Construction hat. Take a breathing mask to get that. The courier's duster. Marked scout armor. Okay, it is a light duster. It gives you +1 agility and has something. I think I want to equip that anyways, just to see. Like 21 here for advanced riot gear. Defense. Yeah, you probably would want that, but this is like 25 pounds where this is only 3 pounds. So if you go to light, there might be an argument there. Pre-war park stroller, pre-war relax wear. I almost certainly have dirty pre-war everything at max state, but we'll see. Spring outfit, 30 pre-war spring outfit. Elite riot gear, 22 medium. And that's what I was wearing, was this. I think it may be very difficult to argue to not use that. Marked beast helmet, we already have Mark Beast Eyes helmet is different than Mark Beast Face helmet. I don't know if I have quite enough helmets. Mark Beast helmet in general. Mark Beast tribal helmet. Veteran helmet. Veteran helmet. Marked patrol armor. Marked scout armor. We have a lot of those, and a lot of these armors are worth an incredibly high amount of caps. Tribal armor, not worth as much. Trooper armor, not worth as much, but still very high. Grunt armor. Yeah, a lot of this, if it is just going to come down to money, there is going to be an argument to use whatever you've got that's the cheapest to repair the most expensive. It is slightly different of an experience compared to repairing weapons in that you just don't have an armor repair kit. And hats definitely seem like something you would want more of. And maybe there's a way of fixing that in a better way. Pre-war spring, pre-war park stroller. Yeah, I'm not sure where you get Marked patrol armor. That. Marked trooper armor, I guess. Fix that. I'm not sure where you're gonna get the... That one's a perfect shape. The number of hats you would like. Ulysses mask. Just doesn't seem like you get as many hats as you would like. Maybe the veteran Decanus helmets will give me some way of fixing things. Okay. So then it is very much just a case of dumping everything here into this. And we're not going back to the stealth suit. And yeah, Ulysses duster and Ulysses masks are gonna be a no too. That gets me down to 16,000. And it is very much going to come down to, do we have extras now that can be used to repair something else? Of course, the something else is also going to be part of the question. Looks like mostly I was doing pretty good by it and really haven't ended up with a lot of extra items. Of course, it's also important to point out that we will never get any of those items again. Unless we went back into that section and that DLC and intentionally tried to collect more. We will take the worst of the items and try and combine them into the best of the items. Most of these outfits feel like, whoops, they definitely feel like you're only going to find a couple of them in the entire game. Whereas in Fallout 3 it definitely felt more along the case that you would run into more. Why is this worth slightly less than these are? It kind of feels like what happens is it rolls a dice to see how much you repair things. Okay. So do that. I'm just gonna put things in things without paying too much attention to it. It does seem weirdly like you can use some armor to increase hats, which just doesn't make a lot of sense. Right, so you've got now all of those outfits. The logic would be to keep anything that's not at 100%. Then come over here.
Will Sir be staying for any
See if we can repair equipment.
Very good.
Like repair all here is almost nothing, so we'll do
Will
it.
Sir be staying for any... Very good, sir.
Didn't have another chainsaw. He has no caps, though. Then you would just want to sell the low items. But it's not like the low items go away. And you would want to buy more high items, which in this case would still be weapons. High value 5,000 cap weapons that combine so that their weight is not too much. So you would think that the game is just kind of broken at this point. Light machine gun is a thought, certainly. You would think that the whole currency would be completely broken, but you're kind of not in that situation. Yeah, we can. So at the top there it says voice module disabled for the unit. You can see it's just taking everything out of my inventory and giving me a bunch of salmon green, which then would let me craft whatever I would actually be looking for. Ah, the weapon binding ritual is over here. I see. And so is wonder glue. So I need all the knives and some wonder glue and healing powder. I was gonna do that. I could make 1 pinion nuts to make trail mix. I could make 12 buffalo gourd seed. So let's start with that. If we can do that. I may not be able to do that. In fact, I may not even be able to make pinion nuts. So there may be a limitation here as far as just what can be crafted. And that's assuming I don't come over here and take all of this. Which that would also be a thing to do. It's just a grab all the items. Again, purified water is something I probably should be selling. Really, I'm only supposed to have like 1 of these items. In this whole inventory. But clearly I have a lot more. So this is a real experience of doing this, and your best case scenario is to do this right after DLC. Whoops. Mantis legs. Mantis legs may not actually be an aid item. JKLMLP mantis forelegs. Stick 1 there. And tats. Now, it would sure be nice if this system worked and it didn't just glitch and take all of your items. Only thing I think can stop it from happening is if you have large numbers, or if you act maybe a little slower, it won't glitch. some of these are definitely also like items that would craft things that just kind of you don't want anyways. Okay. So take all of these knives, take half of these empty syringes. Not sure you actually do anything with any of that. A lot of this also is yeah. Okay, so let's see. We can make battle brew, 6 of them. And then there's a bunch of clone stuff. We can do mass water purification. We can do 10 weapon binding rituals. Not sure really what all of that is for. We can do a large wasteland tequila. I may have never even crafted that one before. Okay. So we need Nuka-Cola victories, mutant cave fungus. Let's see. I don't think you can clone mutant cave fungus. So honey mesquite pods. And let's see, coyote tobacco chew. Can we do that? We can do 1. I can make 1 black coffee. Of course, all of this is just more food items. Prickly pear fruit. Yeah, it seems like if we could just clone a bunch of prickly pear fruit, that might be the last thing. Just make more bloatfly sliders. And then suppose the move here would be to talk to this and then convert a whole bunch of stuff. This guy's pushing me out of the way. And that took a bunch of Xander root and gave me 14 more salient green. Try and balance things out more. Let's see. What is the next thing? Seems like I could just continue to make prickly pear sliders, blowfly sliders with prickly pear fruit. So let's do that. Don't have any items to process. Nice and quiet interacting with all of that. So the situation here, though, that really should be that I should just dump items here. That way I can just take all when I'm done with it. If it happens to be anything that I might actually craft with. Why do I have a big book of science in this inventory? That seems weird. Kind of want to just drop anything. A lot of this I know, though, probably don't craft with. these fancy land snacks, probably not. Fiery purgative, maybe you craft with. Fresh apples, fresh pears. That's fresh pear. Doesn't seem like you cook anything with human flesh either. I don't think any of the irradiated stuff does anything. Maybe you do something with junk food. We can keep all the lad's lives. Definitely need to put MREs in our collection. Maybe you do something with pork and beans. Maybe you do something with that. Roughing It bedroll kit is something we need to consider what we're going to do with that. Strange meat. Sugar bombs. You can see the Tales of Chivalry is not animating correctly, I don't think. Okay. 2,808 worth of items. We are still obviously a huge mess as far as items. And this was our one of everything. 8 items. And so what I want to do here is probably just drop everything and then reevaluate from that spot. Obviously a lot of this is going to be sold instead. But let's just start with a nice empty inventory. So we will take one of those. Take one of those. We'll take 28 of those. Those should be somewhere else. We'll take 28 of those. Take 6 of those. We'll take one of those. This may not be as big of a deal as it could have been. See, I think the best odds, it's not 100%, but I think your best odds are to just kind of wait a second after you highlight something before you try to send it over. Does seem like if you could get everything up to 10, that probably is the smarter move here. get everything up to higher numbers. Whatever it does to bring up the menu instead of this smaller numbers system. Like, you have so many extra things anyways as far as things to sell. Is there really any reason to not just sell the MREs? I still kind of want to sell most of this too. Most of these drugs I'm just never going to use. There is way too long of a list here, as you can see, of items. Definitely should be separated into multiple groups. See, in that case, I had 36 psycho. There's no reason that that should have all jumped. Radix. And Radaway is the one drug, or the two drugs that should be in the whole game. They actually make sense for what's going on. I'm going to keep the two roughing it bedroll kits where they are, but it is too heavy to actually carry around with you. This would be way faster if it wasn't always glitching. I mean, there's just no way that people wouldn't have known about this if they were doing any level of inequality of I want to keep stealth boys. There definitely feels like there's a stubborn, just wrong way, in my opinion, of developing a game, these Bethesda games, in which they are more than happy to sell you a obviously broken product instead of maybe having a smaller product that would lead to less and more smooth experience.
Very good, sir.
Right. So now we are selling the aid items, and the first thing obviously to sell would be things of weight. Because if I end up carrying around the drugs that are not heavy, I can sell them somewhere else. But then I probably am also gonna just go around and sell some other stuff. What you would like to do I imagine, is you would like this to what am I trying to say here? You'd like to be able to trash some items, and I don't know how you really would do that. Let's sell all but a few of those. Okay. Ice cold Nuka-Colas. Hydra. That. Sell all of that. So, oh, keep the buff out. Well, I guess we won't keep the buff out. Okay, so now the trade-off is to go back to the weapons, and we've got to find very expensive weapons. Well, we sold. Probably isn't going to be too hard. But it might be harder than it seems, because I might be running out of very expensive weapons. Okay. So that's another pile of weapons. And this one, this one, this one. And then the knife we were doing weapon binding rituals with. Okay. So how can I be so over encumbered still when well, why do I have this recon armor? I don't know. So, like, move here is probably to dump all of this. Let's make sure we can't craft anything. Why can I craft things? Well, I had a bunch of wonder glue, I guess, over here. I guess the question would be to ask, can I craft even more Lad's Life books? Guess I can. Just exhaust my blank magazines that way. We'll just start at the bottom here. Wonder glues, yes. Tin plate. No, we don't have any. Tin can, yes. Tunnel hide doesn't seem to lead to anything. Surgical tubing, yes. Scrap metal and electronics. I'm gonna hold on to those for a second. Scalpels. Yes. Stomach is growling. I wasn't expecting this to end up going this way. Although I don't know why I wouldn't have thought that this is exactly where the end of the DLC was going to end up. It's just doing a lot of sorting. I knew. Yeah, I've said in the past that's exactly what I expected it to happen. Nuka-Cola, quartzes, Nuka-Colas, those are under the aid, and I don't think I have any. Leather belts, yes. Did we... medical braces, yes. But no metal cooking pans. Actually gonna be done fairly quickly here. Empty syringes, quite a lot of those. I should probably just sell half of them. And egg timers and duct tape. I would question heavily if there isn't actually a lot more I could craft if I grabbed all of these items out of my inventory and tried to craft things. Blank magazine should also be in there. That leaves me still with a massive amount of miscellaneous junk of useless items. Big part of that is here. I want to be fairly careful. If it's something I've seen before, I don't need it in this inventory collection. Yeah. The question I guess to really ask here is, are there any items that would have been new from the DLC? I don't think there are. As far as miscellaneous items, it would have had to have been a marked man, labeled as something like a marked man item or something else. Seymour was the one unique item, I think. And tunneler hides would be a unique item. And I think the rest of that I am safe to get rid of. Let's see. Let's craft as many nails as possible at the reload station, just in case we ever decide we want to go and use a nail gun. I doubt we ever would, but there might be some kind of mods that makes that way more useful. Everything else is pretty much broken down.
Will sir be staying for... Very good, sir.
I'm still carrying way too much as far as items go. Miscellaneous now. There's a whole bunch of miscellaneous stuff. The Abraxo cleaner, I think, is an actual item I needed to have dropped. Ashtrays we can sell. We know that that's useless. Baseballs we can sell. We know they're useless. Baseball gloves. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to go down this way. Bone saws are useless. And see, this is where this DLC could have been better. Why are there two types of butter knives? I have no idea. Butter knife weighing 6 pounds for 6, 7 pounds for 7. So there's like two values of butter knives. Yep. Chessboards are useless. Cigarettes are useless. The more of these we sell, the more we prove that to ourselves. Conductors are not useless. Cutting boards are useless. Cups are useless, as crazy as that sounds. Let's see. Empty whiskey bottles should be able to be filled in. Fire hose nozzles are useless. Pretty sure leaf blowers are useless. It would be weightless to buy these mods if I have nothing else to do with them. These mantis forelegs are useless. The motorcycle, gas tank, and handbrakes. I'll make sure I have one of those. And we don't have any of these mutilated legs and arms. So we will those two are new items because we got the cannibal perk. Where is it? It should be way at the top here. As far as what we're selling, but it's not. It's all alphabetical. Oh no, I'm in the wrong section, that's why. Mutilated leg. Keep one of those. What else? Packs of cigarettes are useless. Paint guns are useless. Paperweight is useless. There's still obviously just a lot of vendor trash. And see, if you wanted to have made that last section, the Lonesome Road, more of a funny situation, I would, yeah. Pre-war books are only worth 1 and only weigh 1. Let's go ahead and sell them anyways. Yeah, you might have had the marked men wandering around with toilet plungers on their heads, something like that, something silly. Just way too much of this going on. vacuum cleaners are also useless. And whetstones are useless. Yeast, apparently not useless. Toy car is useless. Okay. And so that puts me still in a very poor position. Here we're at 1544, and yeah, only so much can really be done. Let's see. First off, let's put the recon armor here. Then let's dump everything else here. Okay, so auto inject stim packs. Get rid of those. Stealth boys. Only hold on to one. 30 stim packs. Weapon binding rituals. 30 stim packs is probably too many, but let's hold on to a few. Okay, then the question is the miscellaneous stuff. Who was using a Braxos cleaner? This one was. So this is probably where I messed up. So I needed to go to the miscellaneous and dump all of the cooking ingredients into this pile, of which there is a lot going on. It's kind of a crazy amount of cooking going on. And I question if all of these items are right, if they belong in that area. Harmonicas in particular, I think. Something I may have overlooked. Motorcycle and mutilated will drop that elsewhere. This really is a great example of how the over-encumbrance, having an over-encumbrance be eliminated. I'm now down to 217. Having that removed from the game, it's not just a cheat, it is a time saver. You really, really need it. Otherwise you are doomed to spend a good 10 extra hours of gameplay sorting through inventory. So there's empty whiskey bottles and there's large whiskey bottles. Apparently. Empty whiskey bottles. Large whiskey bottles. Night Stalker eggs. We're down to 60. We did it. It took an incredibly insane amount of time to do it. But we
Will sir be staying for any considerable...
have done it.
Very good, sir.
So, weapons-wise, there's not going to be anything that has no weight to it. We know that. Apparel-wise, and I guess I could take a bandana. Nope, that's not what I was looking for. Weight, not. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong column here. Eyeglasses, I guess, have no weight to them. And certainly I could take things that weigh only 1 in large bulks and try and sell it somewhere else if I got desperate enough. Although I imagine you wouldn't really do that. Food-wise, there shouldn't be anything here of no value. But there are things. Of no value, so let's go back and pick those up. Even though I'd like them not to be in my inventory, it is better that I just keep them for using gun runners to purchase this otherwise. And that's what I think we'll end today on, is we'll go to the gun runners location and try and buy as many mods as possible. The more I can keep of this menu sorted, the better. I'm just kind of buying some other items here while we're at it. I guess I have just been selling stealth boys. Okay. We're not over encumbered with that setup.
Will sir be staying for any considerable length of time during sir's visit? Very good, sir.
And so we have 6,000. So if I could sell almost 7,000, if I could sell something it's fairly low value. Let's just sell that and that and that. Then what's like the lowest? 4,000. That's not bad at all. Sell those. And off we go. Have to go out here, so then we can teleport ourselves here. This will bring us back to this spot. So then we can fast travel over to here. So, take note. you would think the whole economy would just be broken out. 33,425 caps, but it's
Welcome,
totally just
sir,
not the case. We'll come over here and sell all of these guns. Notice he has only 8,000 guns anyways. And then just sell the eyeglasses. And then we will sell, honestly that's probably half of too many. There's no telling how many this is. We could probably sell, yeah, we can sell all the medics, really. All the mentats, all the party mentats. Radix, could sell half of those. And right away, we can sell half of those. Still crazy that rocket is both a drug and a weapon. So all of these. So that. Keep the vodka. Let's see. I'm just gonna, I think, sell these. I think we're okay with doing that. And that. And I don't believe there is any item here. Now, inherently, if I was going to go through the miscellaneous and just get all the mods, that there is just a high chance you're going to get duplicate mods. And that may be what needs to happen. I know I have 10 wrenches. But first, I want to buy named weapons, because I know there are named weapons here. I know there are also gun runners arsenal weapons. So like Bozar here is 20,000 to start with. Esther is 20,000. Sleepy Time is 9,000, and that's 21,000. Okay. So then the next question would be, should I see if I could buy all the gun runners arsenal weapons? It probably doesn't matter to buy something that isn't Gunrunner's arsenal. And we're out of cash. And we don't have enough to afford everything. We were close. Which is, let's say, we weren't close at all. Okay. So we will just get rid of the Gunrunner's arsenal stuff. And do that. And the hope here is that you could sell more, which I can't. So the economy is not broken by any means. It seems like Gunrunner's arsenal is intentionally designed to
come back
make
and see
that
us again soon.
Never really be the situation. And I would suspect, since none of the other named weapons I've ever had could be modded, this also couldn't be modded. Now, what's weird about that is it looked like I could do more to the hunting revolver, but then I couldn't. So maybe I had two of the exact same mods. Yeah, I have multiples of the same mods, which even modded, you can see this Power Fist is barely of any real value. And I'm hopefully not buying those mods over and over again, because they do seem like they refill. Yeah, it would certainly be nice to get rid of more of these upgrades and just turn this whole list. Quest-wise, let's see. We can either track down the source of the Sierra Madre Grand Invitation. I guess might be the next thing we're going to do. This would be the abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker. It's either do that, or it's go to the Northern Passage and do that. And those are our two DLCs. I would assume at some point we actually can do the Long 15 this December, discover that location, and we can do dry wells. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you go through this and then curve all the way around somehow back down to this spot. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this recording, and that's it for the Lonesome Road DLC. Definitely a better storytelling experience, a much more linear experience, maybe too linear in places, kind of short, not very varied in what you're doing. Certainly had a lot more verticality. I do think if the main game had a lot more verticality and they had experimented with that and polished that, there would be a much better experience overall too. It is kind of crazy how flat the Mojave is, how empty the Mojave is. The main game is. Yep. And yeah, I could go on, but I think we'll just end it here. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and keep on watching.